Shavua Tov b'Shem Hashem Naseh v'Natzliach. Be'ezrat Hashem, the shur that we do today, the learning of the Torah that we do today, may it be in the zechut of Am Yisrael as a whole, the Chayalim and the Shavuim. In Parsha Bechukotai, it begins with a verse where it starts speaking about that if the Jewish people go in Hashem's ways, Hashem is going to bless them. And then we'll see later on in the pasuk it says, what happens if the Jewish people don't go in my ways? But then towards almost the end, not the end, but almost towards the end, it brings down over there that if you're going to walk with HaKadosh Baruch Hu haphazardly, meaning you're going to walk with Hashem by rote, right? It says later on, we'll see, it says, V'halachti mechem b'chamat keri. Also, I want to show that Hashem said, I'm going to go with you, guys, with anger, also haphazardly, that you guys don't know that I exist. I'll show you, Rabotai, as we go through the shur. I'll show you what I mean. In Parsha Bechukotai, it begins with these words: Im bechukotai telechu. If you're going to go in my chukim, again, we know chukim are laws which are undefined. There's no reasons behind it. Ve'et mitzvotai tushmaru. But then it says if you're going to guard my mitzvot. Va'asitem otam. And then it says if you're going to do them. Rabotai, when we look into Rashi, how does Rashi define Im bechukotai telechu? I want to show you why, B'ezrat Hashem b'l neder, that we'll see in the Sefer Or L'Tzafun, he brings down how does a person make that when the Torah promises us that it's going to bless us with shefa and bracha and atzlach and marriage and children, any blessing that there is in the Torah that is going to come down on a person, when does that happen, Rabotai? When? And Chas v'Shalom, Rabotai, when it doesn't happen, why is that so? So this is what I want to try to show you today. Again, whenever we do any shur, we have to be a little bit more realistic. We have to understand that, Rabotai, there's such thing that's called fact and fiction. A lot of people are not really up to facts. They don't like facts. Nobody likes facts. Nobody likes to be hit with the reality, Chas v'Shalom. Nobody likes it. Why should they hit the truth? But at the same time, we need to realize when you know the fact and you are able to do something about it, automatically everything changes. You are able to better your life. I was driving with somebody, I was trying to give an example. I said, can you imagine a person right now is driving down the highway and the bridge, right, they're working on the bridge and half of the bridge is missing. So you try to tell the guy, listen, don't go that route. If you go through there, you're going to go straight down, you're going to die. He says, nah, come on, don't say it. Don't be so pessimistic, don't be so negative. What's being so negative about telling you that the bridge is missing over there? What's so negative? Rabotai, you have Lolin, Rabotai, person is not feeling well. He's not doing too good. You go to the doctor, the doctor says he has to do X, Y, and Z. Nah, I don't believe that this has happened. Nah, leave it alone. But Rabotai, we know in the end that if you don't take care of a small wound, it gets infected and becomes more worse. What is the doctor saying? All the doctor is telling you is the fact is that you're sick and you need antibiotics. Same thing with you, Rabotai. Whenever we try to get the point across, it's trying to show that where are we sick in our neshama? Where are we sick in the neshama, in the soul? So therefore, what is the cure for that? What is the antibiotics for that, Rabotai? It's nothing Chas v'Shalom against people or anything. It's just we want to be able to teach the Torah the way it is. And I'll tell you, we'll see today, B'ezrat Hashem b'l neder. And it's a very, very big misconception. Again, Rabotai, I don't want to say it in a negative way, but the Torah that we have today, there has never been that amount of Torah spread throughout the world in all of generations from day one, Rabotai. Look how much Torah there is on the internet. Look how many Rabbeim are teaching. There's Mishabur, there's Dirshu, there's Chavetz Chaim, there's Daf Yomi, there's Talmud Yerushalmi. You have Rabotai, what don't you have today? You have also, now they start doing Musar. There's so much Torah. But Rabotai, there's two things we have to be very careful. There is learning Torah and there is learning Torah. Meaning when you learn Torah, just by listening and there's no mailers, that's a very big problem. Because Rabotai, it's not like you just go and you're reading a newspaper. It has to have an impact in your life. If the Torah that you're learning is not changing you as a person, if you're still continuing cursing, or if you can still continue disrespecting people, or if you're not if your Yerushalayim is not going up, there is a very, very big problem in the Torah that you are learning. Maybe you should try to see why. Is it maybe the rabbi? Is it maybe the way he's teaching it? What could the situation be? A person has to go and he has to analyze this, Rabotai. I'm not going to give, there's no one rule and that's it. But I want to show you like this. It says like this. So Rashi says, what does it mean, if you're going to go in my statutes? So Rashi says, "Ilu haya nemar kan rak im bechukotai telechu, hayiti yachol omar ki ze kiyum hamitzvot bilvad." Had the pasuk only had said bechukotai, that if you're going to go in my chukim, he said, I could have said that this chukim might have meant mitzvot. That if you're going to go in my mitzvot, meaning if you're going to do my mitzvot, then I'm going to give you blessings, etc. Amnam, however, we have a problem over here. But when the pasuk continues to say towards the next word in the pasuk, and you should guard my mitzvot, we see clearly that when it comes to fulfilling the mitzvot, it's already actually stated. So then what am I going to do with the verse when it says prior to that, if you're going to go in my chukim? So Rashi says, Rabotai, what does it mean, im bechukotai telechu? Is the Sifra. Famous, Rabotai, famous Rashi. He says, Tihiyu amilim batorah. A person has to be oimel in the Torah. A person has to toil in the Torah. Now, let me go back to the verse and try to show you with the two verses in verse Gimel and Dalet. Im bechukotai telechu, if you're going to toil in my Torah, ve'et mitzvotai tishmeru, and you're going to guard my mitzvot, ve'asitem otam, and you're going to do them, ve'natati gishmechem bi'itam, I'm going to give you rain in its time. And Rashi continues, Rabotai, all the blessings come when it all starts with Amelid Batorah. When you're Amel Batorah, you are able to guard the mitzvot and do the mitzvot, then you're going to see all the barachot. But Rabotai, when a person is not Amal in Torah, Rabotai, is considered learning Torah. But is it considered that you're going to get that the reward that the Torah promises you? That the Parnas is going to come in its time, children, wife, health. Is that the time? Is that type of learning Torah? Is that what is promising you? No, Rabotai. When a person is just listening, or just trying to get trying to get over with the daf or whatever might be, Rabotai, with the halakha, without having any havana, I don't know, Rabotai. Again, you're getting a reward, but very minimal. But we can't say, I can't go against the Torah right now and tell that you're getting the reward of blessings that are promised for that type of learning. That I cannot say. Now I want to just show you over here something. In the Masechet Berachot, Rabbi Zeri says, how's that possible, Rabotai? Rabbi Zeri says, Agra de Pirka Rehita. Rabbi Zeri says that the reward that a person gets to go and to learn Torah is running to the shiur. One second, I don't get it. At least tell me I'm getting merit, I'm getting reward for learning Torah. How do you tell me we're just for running and not for actual mitzvah of sitting and learning Torah? Rabotai, I'm going to read a Rashi for you. It's a very sharp Rashi. Rashi says, Ikar kibul sachar habriot haratim l'shmo v'darasha mipi hacham hischar hamirutza. The main reward that the Jewish people get when the men run to learn Torah from a rabbi, the reward is running alone. The main reward is running alone. I mean, he gets all the reward, but the main reward is for the running alone. Why? Sharei rubam enam mivinim l'ha'amid girsa velumar shmu'a mipi rabam l'achar zman. Because many of the people over there sitting, they're not going to be able, they don't have their understanding to be able to re-say what the rabbi said after some time. She kabulu schar limud, in order to get reward for learning Torah. Now, Rabotai, we need to understand. Listen, again, Rabotai, all the Jewish people are holy. It's just for those people that, again, you need to understand. If you ask me if it's better than nothing, yes, it's better than nothing. Everything's better than nothing. I'm not going to tell you no. Even $1 is better than no dollar. That's simple. Rabotai, I just want to show you here something else. It's a matter of how much do you want to grow. How much do you really want to have in this life? You could have all of Mabah in this world, Rabotai. You could feel what all of Mabah is when you amel b'Torah the way you're supposed to. And I speak about this a lot, Rabotai, because we don't see the emes. When a person goes to a shul, and this is the problem. When a person goes to a shul and he listens to one rabbi and he listens to here and he listens to there, but then he goes back and gets back on his phone and he goes back and listens to movies, or he goes to the beach and he continues going mixed eatings, etc., or mixed dancing, Rabotai, whatever you want to call it. Why? Because that Torah that we're learning is not changing us. It's here, but it's not over here. The Torah that we're learning has to be not only in the mind, but it also has to be in the heart. And we don't have that, Rabotai. Again, I speak for myself. I'm not speaking to nobody. I don't want nobody getting upset right now. And this is, again, this is what the Gemara Masay Berachot Avav Amud Bet brings down. Check it out, look at over there. Rabbi Zera, Agra, the Pirka, the Hita. Rabbi Zera says the reward that a person gets for going to Shi'ur is the running. You have to be honest with yourself, Rabotai. If you want to grow, there has to be a meilus b'Torah. You want berachot in your life, there has to be a meilus b'Torah. Now, I want to show another page. Let me see. Let's see this. A second. There is a very important Rish Lakish. Let me see if I can find it. Yes. And Davhe Amur Aleph. It's Amr B'Shimon Ben Lakish. Rabbi Shimon Ben Lakish said, Kol ha'osek b'Torah yisurim b'dilim hemenu. Anybody who's oisik, anybody who toils in Torah, yisurim, sufferings, they stay away from him. Again, Rabotai, it's very simple. When there's no sufferings, that means you're getting all the brachot, you're getting blessings. If a person is not suffering, that means something good is happening to him. Rabotai, the Gemara continues to say, what does that mean? That if anybody learns Torah, that the Yisurim, they leave him, how could that be? Even the smallest child knows it, etc., etc. So they want to relearn this Gemara, and they want to say like this. I'm just going to get to the bottom line of it, not to prolong the shiur. Rather you have to learn like this. What does it mean that anybody who sits and learns Torah, that the Yisurim leave him? Meaning osik, somebody who deals. Again, Rabotai, you have to be midaik in every word. Osik, there's a very big difference between toiling and just listening. Toiling and understanding and breaking your head and writing, even when the rabbi speaks, or going back after the rabbi spoke to you, reviewing your learning. How many of us don't do chazarot? Which is a very big no-no, Rabotai. A person has to do chazarot. So he says to me like this, Rabotai. El kol she'efshar lo la'asog b'Torah ve'eino osek, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mivi alav yisurim mechuarin ve'ochrin oto. Rabotai, he says like this, you have to learn. If it's possible for one to la'asog b'Torah, but he's not osek, he doesn't toil in Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hashem himself will bring on him suffering that are going to consume him and they're going to damage him, Rabotai. Hashem himself is going to see to it that this person is going to find no peace. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I learned this Gemara previously, when you look at the word Kol She'efshar Lo La'asok B'Torah Ve'eino Osek, that if it's possible for one to be oisik, but he's not oisik, Hashem brings on him suffering. So I understood it to me that a person could learn Torah. Right now he could learn Torah. So what does he do? He goes on his phone. He goes out watches TV. I don't know. He wastes his time, etc., etc. That's the way I was learning it before. I can tell you another pshat today, in my humble opinion, Rabotai, with what I'm learning right now. Sometimes, Rabotai, when it's possible for us to learn Torah, when we are already in the shiur, and still we're not being oisik. Still we're not learning Torah. We're not delving into it. Why? Because we're constantly, either we're eating, which is fine, I'm not saying it's wrong. So once you're eating, don't think you're able to do two things at one time. Eat and understand what the rabbi is saying. I don't know how that's possible in the world, but let's say it is. But another problem is, Rabotai, how many of us, when we go to shiurim, this guy asks a question has nothing to do with the shiur. This guy says, something has nothing. This guy's phone rings, your phone rings, his phone rings, this one vibrates. Rabotai, when you are able to be oisik now, and you're not because of the distractions that you are bringing upon yourself with your idol, the avodah zarah that's in your hand, Rabotai, then you wonder why Hashem does X, Y, and Z. Don't then come and say, Rabbi, help me, Rabotai. You want to help. If anybody wants help, Rabotai, start by helping yourself first. Start doing what the Torah requires of us, Rabotai. I went, Sundays, I daven in a different shul. So I went to a certain shul, Rabotai. I'm going to tell you, listen, maybe it's just me. I went to a shul, I came a little bit early. The minyan starts 8:30. There was a very, very, very humongous poster giving Daf Yomi. Blain Hara, Rabotai. I'm telling you right now, this rabbi is humongous. I have no chasram, no claims on him. The way he was learning the Gemara is like, that he reviewed it maybe 105 times, if not more. But when I walked in there and I was putting on my tefillin before they would start davening and I was listening, I don't do Daf Yomi, I don't hold Daf Yomi. I try to do what I'm able to do by myself to try to have understanding. So they were doing Daf Yomi, and as I was listening to him, Rabotai, listen to this carefully. Just by listening to the rabbi give such a shiur on this and that and this and that and this and that and that, and he was to do a shiur in 45 minutes back and forth, which is nice. I'm not saying it's wrong, but for me personally, I'm going to share with you my humble opinion. Rabotai, I said so. It's me, I almost gave up hope. I'm like, when I come to this Gemara, how am I ever going to understand this Gemara the way he's explaining? Meaning, because when I try to do Gemara, I try to do it with the Rashi, because Rashi explains everything. But when they do, sometimes they just do the outside, which is much easier. Even they explain with the Rashi. But Rabotai, from one shot to understand everything, which is very hard. So what did I do, Rabotai? As I was standing there, at least for 7 minutes. And I said to myself, wow, if I'm going to continue standing here right now, it's going to have effect on me that I'm not going to be able to continue learning Torah because I can't understand what the rabbi was saying. Again, the rabbi knew what he was saying. But how many of us, Rabotai, on the other end understand what the rabbi is saying? How many? Okay, learn with the rabbi one time. Go back and review it again a second time, a third time, a fourth time. That is the minimum, Rabotai. This is the minimum to do chazara. But like Chacham Ovadia one time said, Rabotai, we today barely do 2 times chazara. We want to do 4 times chazara. Needless to say 40 times. And needless to say what the Gemara says 101 times a person has to do, he'll never forget it, Rabotai. And this, we don't believe in chazara. This is a very big problem. And that's why we don't have that sweetness in Torah. That's why we don't appreciate learning Torah. Chazara is the key to everything. A person has to review. It's like chewing. I was in somebody's house. So there was a very, very nice meat. Like, the person smoked it for at least 8 hours. A nice piece of meat. So somebody took the piece of meat and they started eating it. So the owner of the house is telling him, this meat, you know how you have to eat it? You have to chew it and continue chewing it until you break it down so you're able to swallow. You're going to feel the deliciousness. Rabotai, lahavdal elav lahavdalot. I don't want to compare the two. But just like by food, you can't swallow food whole because you could choke. Same thing over here when it comes to Torah. Torah cannot be swallowed just like that. You gotta chew it down. You gotta break it down and more and more. You don't understand? Listen to another rabbi. You don't understand? Ask that rabbi that taught it to you. You don't get it? Use our school. You don't understand? Use another. There's old Daf B'lei and Harvard. They have so many rabbanim there over there. Good rabbanim that explain very beautiful the Daf. Rabotai, don't settle for less. Don't settle just because to get that check. And a few people came to me, Rabotai. This is a few people that I know. But a lot of them, Rabotai, are telling me that the reason we doing this is just to get that check inside. Rabotai, I don't want to say you're wasting your time. I don't want to chasra use that word because, like I said before, to get $1 than no dollar is better to get $1. You're doing great because instead of doing something else, you're learning Daf Yomi, no problem, or Mishnah Yomi, no problem. But upgrade yourself a little bit. After the Daf Yomi, after the Mishnah Yomi, after the Mishnah Berurah, after the Halacha, I don't know, whatever it is, go back over and over. Go re-listen to it again. All these shiurim are recorded. Write it down. Go back, see if you really understood it. Don't waste your time, Rabotai. And I'll give you an example. I believe, I forgot the name of the rabbi. I think Rav Chaim Igal. I forgot, very, 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 very nice rabbi, Rabotai. I don't just listen to anybody. He's from Israel. Was it him or was another rabbi that brought down this mashal, this parable? I'll tell you anyway. But it's not for me. He said over there that there was a guy, he brought a very, very big plot of land. Humongous plot of land. and he got a lot of workers to plow. It took a few months just to plow because it was very big land. And then they had to plant the seeds. After that, they had to water and they had to upkeep the hole as it was growing. Rabotai, it took time until everything started growing. After a few years, there was a guy that was passing by this field, and he sees an apple tree, and he sees an orange tree, and he sees a cherry tree, and he sees all different type of trees. But he's paying attention that nobody is harvesting. Nobody's picking the apples or the grapes. Everything is falling and becoming rotten. Either rots on the tree or either rots on the ground. So the guy said, let me go knock on the door. Let me ask, maybe this house is abandoned. Maybe the guy died. So he goes inside the house. He knocks on the house on the door. As the owner of the door opens the door, as the owner of the house opens the door, he tells the guy who knocked on the door, how can I help you? Oh, he said, Baruch Hashem, somebody lives over here. He says, yeah, why would you think nobody else lives over here? He says, because I remember when I saw this plot many years ago, it was all flat land. And today I see it's all trees, apples, oranges, etc., and so on and so forth. He says, yeah, what's the problem? He says, no, the problem is, what I realize is that nobody's picking the apples, nobody's harvesting the grapes, the cherries, etc. He's like, why aren't you doing it? You put so much money, you put so much time and effort into buying the field, into plowing, into planting. Why don't you go harvest? So the guy answered him, he said, do I look crazy to you? You know how much money I spent in getting these trees to grow, in getting to pay the plowers and to pay the planters. You know how much money I spent? You want me now to go and spend more money on the harvesting? You gotta be out of your mind. Please leave my house. Rabotai, the rabbi says something fascinating. It sounds weird. It sounds not normal. But this is us. We learn Torah for the first time without doing the chazara. Rabotai is like that guy. Why in the world would I do the chazara? The first time around when you're learning it, that's just touching the surface. You're not even doing anything yet. When you go back a second, third, fourth, Rabotai, when you go back like that, that's when you start having real understanding. That's when you start appreciating what it means Amelis B'Torah, because now your mind is finally grasping things. But if you want to tell me that in one shot, in 45 minutes, you got the Amud, okay, Rabotai, that's up to you. I'm just trying to share with you a very powerful point that in order to be able to be blessed with the blessings, a person has to go ahead and he has to toil in Torah, like I showed you over here. Now I want to read for you over here what the Sefer Or Letzafon brings down. He says like this. He also brought down the Rashi. I'm just going to go straight to the punchline. He says like this. Harei shekol berachot v'hakilalot kulan tuluyot be'amelut b'Torah. All the blessings in the Torah, all the curses in the Torah, because like we'll see later on, Rabotai, that's where we had the 98 curses, was in the Shilishi. All the blessings in the Torah and all the curses in the Torah, Lolain, that come upon a person, they are all dependent ba'amilut ha-Torah. They're all dependent on the person's, the way he toils in Torah. That means if you're toiling in Torah, you're bringing down Shefa every minute that you're toiling. You're bringing down Berachot for you, your wife, your children, for generations to come. Rabotai, for the world at large, your neighbors. But Chas v'Shalom, Rabotai, if you're not toiling in the Torah, then there are Lo'olenu, the other side, which I don't want to say. So he says over here, if a person is going to be amal in the Torah, he's going to toil in the Torah, tidkaimena kol haberachot ha'amurot. By you it's going to be fulfilled all the blessing that is brought down in the Torah. V'im lo tiyu amilim b'Torah, Rabotai, but if you're not going to be amal b'Torah, if you're not going to toil in Torah, chas v'shalom lolin, Rabotai, titkayem kol ha'tochacha al tzadik ched kalalotecha v'ha'olam yecharev v'shamem. But if chas v'shalom, Rabotai, if a person is not toiling the Torah, by him is going to be fulfilled all the 98 curses, and the world will be destroyed and it's going to be desolate. So we see over here, Rabotai, again, it's not my words. We see over here, it's wanting to take time from your wife and your children not to be home at night, or in the morning to take off from work, and to go to learn Torah. And now when you come to learn Torah, the one time that you're able to learn Torah and you don't learn Torah, we have to be, well, I don't want to say the word right now. Rabotai, we have to be crazy. I said, what can I do? We're wasting our time. We are wasting our time. Like Rav Meir Shlita says, you know that on any given Rosh Hashanah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives a person a certain amount of punishment. He gives a person a certain amount of punishment. Let's say, I don't know, Rabotai, let's say 100 grams of punishment. I'm just giving an example. Now, those punishments have to come on a person. Throughout the year, they have to come on a person. He wants, he doesn't want, it has to come on him. But Rabotai, the option, how are those punishments going to come, is up to you. If you're going to sit, Rav Meir Shlita says like this. Harav HaGaon Rav Meir Shlita. He says like this, that if you sit and you learn Torah and it's hard, and you break yourself, and it's hard to come out of the house, and you go anyway and you break yourself, that Rabotai is suffering. So now what does Hashem have to do? He has to, by you suffering, learn your Torah, because that's the real Amel's Torah, because when you don't understand, we don't expect you to understand everything from one shot. Now you're sitting and you're breaking your head. Hashem says, whoa, one second. What do I care how he suffers? He's suffering, no? So he removes 1 gram, and 2 grams, and 3 grams. So from 100 grams, as long as you're learning and you're being Amel's Torah and it's hard for you, Rabotai, you're down to 50. You continue throughout the whole year like this, you have no punishments. Hashem didn't punish you. On the contrary, Rabotai, you were able to remove those sufferings from you by being Ameled in Torah, because that is also hard. And now Hashem gives you all the blessings. So you're doing 2 things at one shot, Rabotai. You're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So how beautiful is that? But we, Rabotai, what do? Just the opposite. We think we go to the shiur, 15 minutes the rabbi gives an introduction, another 15 minutes speaks about Ilul Nishmat, another 15 minutes he answers the guy's one question that decided to think that he thinks that he knows when he speaks about one halakha where he never saw it in his life, and there goes your 45 minutes out the window, and then everybody goes home. At least we said, Rabbi Chanan ben Akash Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's it. But that's a problem, Rabotai. You need to find yourself where it's serious. I said this before, I'm saying this again. You can't go anywhere if too many people is a lot for you. Hire Talmid Chacham. You can hire Talmid Chacham. Go to yeshivot and ask people to teach you for free. If they're going to teach you for free, what am I supposed to do? A person needs to know, Rabotai, you have to see to it that you are growing in Torah, you are growing in Avodah Hashem, and not chas v'shalom that you are coming down. Now I want to share with you guys one more piece. All this up to now, we were saying that if a person is going to be Amal B'Torah and is going to keep Hashem's mitzvot, etc., then Hashem is going to bless him with all the blessings. But then the Torah continues to say, V'im lo tishmu'u li, but if you're not going to listen to me, v'lo ta'asu et kol ha-mitzvot ha'ela, you're not going to do all my mitzvot, v'im b'chukotai tim'asu. But I want to just stick on this point for a second. If you're going to be disgusted with my statutes, which laws are undefined, I want to just add the way Rashi wanted to explain Im bechukotai telechu. If Rashi says over there, Im bechukotai telechu means shitiyu amelim b'Torah, let me add that same Rashi over here, Rabotai. Let me say Im bechukotai timasu. Over here, really, chukotai means laws. But if you're going to be disgusted with my melis b'Torah, Rabotai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, etc., etc., he says, Af ani esezod lachem. Then I'm going to go and do this back to them. I'm going to start bringing them, Rabotai, lo'olein chas v'shalom, the curses. Now, we have to understand. People think, okay, Rabbi, listen, we're growing, we're making it, we're better than we were from before. So somebody asked me this question, very nice guy, he asked me this question in the shul. I gave this shul on Shabbat. He asked me, Rabbi, but you have to agree we are better than from where we were before. 100% I agree. Who said not? I'm very happy. Who said not? Rabotai, but I want to tell you, I want to share with you a small story. I had somebody clean my car. Again, Rabotai, I give my car to car cleaning, whatever. I love cleaning. I love having my car clean. It's some of the things, certain people love, hobbies, whatever. My car has to be clean, whatever the situation is. And I always give it for detailing. Whatever it is, Rabotai, I like it to have it clean. And my previous guy that used to do my detailing, Charge $100, no problem. This particular time when I wanted to do detailing, they wanted a little bit more. They wanted, I'm not going to give the exact amount. It was much more than 100. I don't want people to get, because I do buy many people, I don't want nobody to get upset. So whatever it was, Rabotai, so I said, listen, okay, let me try them out, because the other guy was busy, he's not able to, he doesn't do the car washes. When they brought me my car back after 4 hours, and I went into the car to see the car, and I saw that this was dirty, that was dirty, the cupboard was dirty, whatever, Rabotai, I expected it to come out like as if it's coming out from the shop, because that's what they told me. They said, as if when you buy a car from the shop, that's the way it's going to come back to you. So I said, no problem. If that's the case, I'm willing to pay you whatever you want. I'll give you a tip on top, no problem. When I got the car back, I was not very happy again with it, and they had to redo it again, whatever the situation was. So as I was showing them again where there was problems inside the car, where they missed many simple things, like in your face. So one of the guys are saying is like, Rabbi, but wasn't it better from before? So I told him, I said, I didn't give you my car that you should make it better from before. If I wanted to, I would have driven it through a car wash and it would have been better from before. I gave you my car because I wanted to be detailed, completely clean. Same thing with us, Rabotai. When we ask, when we say to ourselves that statement, that we were better from before, from where we were, but Rabotai, but does Hashem really expect to be better from before? Or does Hashem want us to do the best we can? And that's something we have to ask ourselves, because a lot of us, we do settle for the just to barely make it in Avodah Hashem, just to get that 65 by Hashem, and then we're happy. We want to try to go above and beyond. Now, Rabotai, what brings? I want to just show you something. What is it that brings Chas Shalom, the curses on the Jewish people? If you read the part, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, that Hashem brought this type of plague and that plague, etc. Why, Rabotai? Why? I want to show you why is it. Let me see if I can find it. In the final verse, he says, not the final verse, but in, let's see which parak this is, in Perek Chavav, in Pasuk, in Chav Zayin, and Chav Chet. He says, V'im bezot, with all this, Rabotai, after he brought down all the punishment that he's going to bring on the Jewish people, Lo tishme'uli, you're not going to listen to me. V'halachtem imi bekeri, and you guys are going to walk with me haphazardly, meaning this is what I told you right in the beginning of the shiur. You're going to walk with me by rote, by habit, without actually paying attention to your avodat Hashem. Look what Hashem says. You guys walk with me like that, without paying attention that I'm your God, and not listening to all the signs that I'm sending you that we have to change. V'halachti imachem b'chamat keri v'sarti etchem af ani sheva al chototechem. Look how they explain the Rashi. Look how they explain the Mikra. He says that if we're gonna go with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with happenstance, by rote, think that everything that's happening is just by happenstance, it's not to teach me a message. Hashem says no problem. So you guys go with me, he says no problem. Then I'm gonna go with you guys with anger. Behester panim, ki ilu azivetechem belo hashgacha. It's as if I abandoned you without supervision. Va'avi alachem yisurim, and I will bring on you suffering, Rabotai. But how many times did he say? 7 times folded from what he promised from before. I want to show you something. Rabbi said, when it comes to learning Torah, don't take learning Torah for granted. Don't take it for granted. If you were able to come and learn Torah in the morning or night, in the evening or in the car, don't take that time of learning Torah for granted. Don't do it by rote, Rabotai. Don't do it by habit. A person has to look at learning Torah as if it's a gift, which it is a gift. It's a merit, Rabotai, to be able to learn Torah. People that always have this excuse, that excuse, because Rabotai, the Torah doesn't give them the merit to come and learn it. But you have that merit to come and learn the Torah. You should never, Rabotai, treat nor mitzvot, nor learning Torah, and how much more Rabotai, over all of what Hashem, by habit. And this is what we do, unfortunately. We come to shul, we daven, we say berachot, we even learn Torah, Rabotai, by rote. And this is why I'm trying to bring down over here. It has to be im bechukotai telechu. If you're going to go in my laws, meaning to you amelim b'Torah. Why is amelis Torah very different than any other learning Torah, Rabotai? because you're not doing it by rote. You're not doing it just to get it done. Rabotai, it's not easy to sit there an hour, 2 hours, sometimes more than 6 hours a day, 8 hours, sometimes goes to 12 hours a day, to sit and try to understand what the Gemara is throwing at you, one thing after another, after another, after another. You could just close the book and say, I'm done and I don't need this, I can go have a good time, look at the beautiful weather. Rabotai, when a person is Amal B'Torah, it's not done, you're forcing yourself to do something you don't like. Midi connected midi, you're able to break your nature. Hashem is going to say, if you were able to break yourself, Hashem has to say, I have to break myself and I have to give him blessings that he never deserved. So this is why, Rabotai, we have to be very, very careful when it comes to avodah Hashem, not to chas v'shalom, Rabotai. Go with Hashem by habit, just to come, to learn, to leave and say, check, I learned Torah. No, Rabotai, as I showed you today, that type of learning Torah can bring you trouble. Now, Rabbi, say, if you're going to tell me the Gemara that says, when people learn Shalolish Mabalishma, that do it not for its sake, then you're going to come for its sake. Yes, Rabotai, I'm not saying that's not wrong. That's also good, Rabotai, but we have to understand, when we're coming to learn Torah, a person has to try to give everything he has. Put your phones away. If you have to not eat, Rabotai, don't eat in the middle of the class. Maybe water, coffee, just to keep you going. Rabotai, but the rest, try to push everything, all distractions, away from you. Try to be invested 1,000,000% in learning Torah. You will see there will be a difference. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a small example. If you look into Simon Hay and Halacha Aleph, over there it speaks about berachot. Over there it speaks about how a person has to daven. When he says the berachot, he has to think, right? When you get to Hashem's name, you have to think, Adon HaKol Hayah, whoever he is. When you get to Elokeinu, Shutakiv, Bala Yichol, Bala Kod Kulam, you have to think these things, Rabotai. Imagine if you do that halacha 4 times. Just do that halacha, one halacha, 4 times, but make it part of it. With the, if you want, do it with the Mishnah Berurah, where it says that when you don't just throw words out of your mouth, but have a meaning to them. Imagine doing that halacha, even if you're doing right now with amelis. Believe it or not, when you start going back and you start blessing on something, automatically that halacha pops in your head. Or when it says a person has to wake up like a lion in the beginning of the halakha, it gaber kari lamud babok, when you have to wake up in the morning like a lion. Rabotai, when will this happen? Not if I just read it, okay, and just fly through it. No, Rabotai. When I made it part of me, and how do you make it part of you? By going over it and over it, and by making it real. Rabotai, if you guys don't believe it, watch this. If a person sees, right, if a person watches a basketball game, right, how can you have, how many people that can fit in the basketball game? 20,000, 30,000 people in the stadium. How do you have people, whether it's rain, snow, sunshine, they're there. They're fully there. They're screaming. They're yelling. They're cheering at their team. It could be 8 o'clock at night. It could be 12 o'clock at night. They don't care about time. People give their lives for this. People wait all week just to see one game. How is that possible, Rabotai? Because that is the reality. That's what brings them simcha. Rabotai, lahavdal elav lahavdalot. If you have to make, when you learn Torah, you have to imagine in your mind that Kadosh Baruch Hu is in front of you. You're learning His precious Torah. You're learning His holy Torah. Make it part of you. Make it, it has to be ingrained. When the Torah is ingrained in you, when you learn Torah with Amel B'Torah, believe it or not, Rabotai, you're going to become a gadol. You like it or not. It's like going to the gym and weightlifting against your will. You want it, you don't want it. If you start from 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, you like it or not, your body's going to become bigger and stronger. Same thing with you, Rabotai. I don't want to compare the two, but I'm just trying to give you parables to try to make it more real. When you learn Torah, that by saying, Rabbi, I have a zechut to come over here. It's a merit for me to learn Hashem's Torah. And look how many people don't have that merit. Rabotai, maybe 0.01% learn of Hashem's Torah. How many more millions of people don't know Hashem's Torah? How many people don't know how to even say Shema? How many people don't even know how to read, and you know how to read? Take advantage, Rabotai. Take advantage of that. Be happy that you have Talmidei Chacham that are teaching you. Look at the Rabotai. It's impossible to say today that not one Jew can become a Talmid Chacham. With all the Torah that is out there, if you want something, Rabotai, go and get it. Don't sit there, oh, my mother, my father, my wife. Rabotai, Just like you won't listen to people when it comes to your finances, your food, your rest. Don't listen to people about time when it comes to Avodah Hashem. Like the Mesilah Yisharim brings down in, I think Rabbeinu Bach, like he brings down. What? No, not Rabbeinu Bach. Moshe Chaim Igal. In Mesilah Yisharim, what does he say about time? When a person sees somebody coming to him and trying to dissuade him from serving Hashem, he should look at that person as if it's a building on fire and he wants to run away and he's telling you, no, come closer. No, Rabotai, when people dissuade you from Avodat Hashem, you have to do everything in your power to run away from it. With respect to Rabotai. No, that's it, finish, move on. Continue. Don't sit there, you have somebody come and they want to, in the middle of your learning Torah, sometimes people call me, it's unbelievable. I should put my phone on airplane mode, but sometimes I don't put it on airplane mode only because I'm expecting my kids to call me, my wife, whatever the situation is. And other people call me and I'll tell them, I said, you guys called me for this? Like, is this important right now, Rabotai? I'll tell you why. What is the difference between, Rav Nissen Kaplan Shlita says this, what is the difference between a person pointing a gun at you and a person coming to you and speaking to you in the middle of your learning about something that has nothing to do with your learning, about garbage? What's the difference, Rabotai? No difference. This guy is going to kill you physically. This guy that's stealing your time from learning Torah is killing you spiritually, because every moment that you're not learning Torah, you're missing on the Olam Haba that you could have accomplished. So that's what Rabotai. Don't look at these people like regular people. Oh, Zachemti Pajosh, why are you going to go learn Torah? You want to become fanatic? How much Torah can you learn? Everything. No, Rabotai. These type of people are the ones that want to rob you from from real life. They have no life. So in order to make sure that they stay happy, they have to make sure that you have no life. But Rabotai, go out there and prove people wrong, become somebody. Because I'm telling Rabotai, it is very sad with what our eyes see today. Boys that are 50 or men that are 50, 60, and they still don't know how to learn. They never did a mission in their life. They don't even know what the Shulchan Aruch. Rabotai, why do we come to this world? For what? Just to eat, to have relations, and to bring children to the world, and to work like dogs, and in the end you're going to die and you're going to leave everything to your chauffeur, Rabotai? For what, Rabotai? A person has to make, like this in Simon Kuf Nunei 155, I believe in Halacha 2, it brings down over there, you have to make learning Torah priority. Work you have to make secondary. Not like today, Rabotai, we make our work priority and our learning Torah secondary. I get a chance to it, I'll go. I won't get a chance to it, I won't go. Oh, Rabbi, I'm tired. Rabotai, I didn't ask you if you're tired, if you want to come. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it, don't do it for yourself. Stay at home, but don't bring everybody else down with you. In any way, Rabotai, Bezrat Hashem B'lineder, may the zuchut of the Melech Torah that we do be'emet, may bring shalom to the world, Rabotai. May bring brachot to us. Those people that are not married should get married. Those people that don't have children have children. Everybody should be healthy and strong. Hashem should bless every single Jew that's Amal B'Torah with the billions of dollars that the Arabs have, Rabotai. Because when he gives it to us, we'll be able to build for him worlds of Torah. Baruch Adonai Olam, Amen ve'Amen.